Okay, so I told myself I probably wouldn't record a video about this because obviously anything surrounding the current culture war, you know, the Gamergate, the wokies, the anti-wokies, all that stuff is just, I think it's one of the most boring things probably on the internet right now. And obviously I felt the need to with this one because we've kind of gotten to a stage of misinformation surrounding all this stuff that's really hard to ignore if you want to have any credibility whatsoever. And obviously this is not going to win you any brownie points by going over this and releasing a video counter to the narrative of what people want to say and believe. But basically, people are either lying, misrepresenting, or just trying really hard to grift successfully off the back of this whole Sweetbaby Inc. stuff. And I'm not going to get into the whole, you know, DEI, is it good, is it bad? I really don't care. What I do want to talk about, though, is this insane rumor that's been taken as gospel fact and is now being repeated ad infinitum, basically, that Sweetbaby Inc. engaged in a literal federal prosecutable crime known as extortion against a Chinese game development company, somewhere in the tune of $7 million, being just spread everywhere without a single observable fact or credible source, screenshot, anything. This is one of those cases where it's an extraordinary claim, and for an extraordinary claim you need extraordinary levels of evidence, and what we currently have is no evidence at all. Now, I don't personally care about the game, about the Sweetbaby thing, and obviously this comes down to people want to believe it because they've now made Sweetbaby Inc. essentially Candyman. If you go into the mirror now and say Sweetbaby Inc. 3 times, a badly developed, poorly animated, ugly woman, apparently, from one of these woke new video games is going to show up in the middle of the night and kill you, when that's probably not the case. But we have gotten to kind of like satanic panic levels of conspiracy theory and just insanity with this one. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, this is basically where it came from originally. Somebody called Pirate Nation on Twitter, who posts, as far as I can tell, a whole lot of stuff surrounding normal gaming and whatever else, but also, of course, culture war. As you can see, scroll down for like 5 seconds, get immediately to something about SBI, Sweetbaby Inc. And obviously this post is misrepresenting the evidence of what they're using to try and say and spread and be an original report about the whole, you know, extortion thing. And I do have to keep air quoting extortion and report, because this is not journalism. This is in fact the absolute opposite of journalism. This is taking no source, vetting that non-existent source, absolutely zero, and then reporting it as if it's fact and you're somehow a journalist doing, you know, good work or whatever else. Sorry, I'm just playing RuneScape on my other monitor, so just got to make sure I'm not missing out on those AFK gains while I'm recording this video. So he says, Chinese media, Black Myth Wukong refused to be extorted for $7 million by Sweetbaby. Now, obviously, the problem with this is it's trying to shore up the claim by using this term Chinese media, when in reality, Chinese media didn't report anything. Chinese media would be referring to some kind of apparatus, right? Some kind of agency or outlet. But in reality, it is one person on the Chinese version of Twitter, basically, Weibo, however you pronounce it, who has 389,000 followers, who literally calls himself an internet technology blogger. And this is the original source of the report. It's just a person who, if you Google and read some of his posts, has been repeatedly disproven in making some pretty outlandish claims. And his entire post history, of which there are like dozens of posts per day, are almost always predominantly talking shit about other nations, because obviously he's in China, so can't talk shit about his own, unfortunately, otherwise he'll get permabanned. But just constantly talking about overseas, as you can see here, LGBTQ plus feminist groups, talking about how people in the US are all pedophiles, just saying some pretty fucking outlandish and wild things. And then, of course, because a lot of his posts, as you can see, get, 17 likes, 200 likes, 50 likes. He posts about something that's really negative about the West, that would be seen very negatively within China, about diversity and things like that, and gets tens of thousands of likes on the post. It goes viral. So you can see why, what the impetus would be to claim this. But a lot of people, for whatever reason, are reporting this as if it's fact. And it's an individual. Again, I'm just trying to outline. I don't know whether this is true, but I do know that there is no evidence that it is. And the problem is, right, because a lot of people are going to come to this video and they're going to say, oh, you're woke, you're a shill, you're a corporate bootlicker, you're whatever it's going to be, a moron, you're stupid. I'm just of the opinion that if this was true, this would be the biggest story ever in gaming, right? This would be absolutely massive. For us to engage with that, we do need some form of evidence, right? Even reporting this as a rumor, I think, is absolutely insane, because there is no rumor. There is no interviews with insiders. There's nothing whatsoever. There's not a screenshot of proof. There isn't even a word from an official person who works with the publisher, works with the development studio or anything. It's literally just a random guy. Do we just now take random people on social media at the word of everything they say? If I go and make a post right now on my Twitter that says the moon's made of cheese, are a whole bunch of people just going to say oh yeah, the moon is made of cheese because he said it, and link me as the primary source with no evidence? It just makes no sense, and it's because people want to believe this. But I think it completely discredits your actual opinions and points that I do think are valid in some cases. When you're criticizing people and companies like SBI, when you just feed into this, because I've seen people going wild. There are hundreds of videos, some from some of the biggest creators in the space, like Asmongold, that are talking about this as if it's true, and saying oh yeah, maybe the number's not true, or we haven't seen enough evidence. There shouldn't be anybody entertaining this whatsoever, even as a thought experiment, because it's nothing. You're accusing a company based on nothing of a federal crime. And then people are atting them saying, why aren't you talking about this? Why is this a cover-up? What's going on? And I just think it's crazy, because this completely demerits all of your legitimate arguments you could have, because you're so easily drawn into a conspiracy theory. Instead of ignoring this, it actually feels like a psyop in a way, that people are taking this as fact rather than discrediting it for what it is, which is complete nonsense for now. And if it does come out to be true, if there is evidence of this, then yeah, right, everyone's going to be against that, because it's a literal crime and a morally reprehensible thing to do in the first place. But surely we've got to have better standards in terms of evidence for anything, right? Because one of the big things here is that people are linking this back to an IGN article from October of 2023 or something, where IGN mistranslated some tweets and some other shit from the developer of Black Myth Wukong and said, oh, they're sexist. And obviously people are then saying they did that because they rejected the Sweetbaby extortion attempt of $7 million. So then Sweetbaby went to all these media outlets and said, oh, let's bully them and ruin their credibility and try and ruin the game because they wouldn't give us the money to come and wokeify the game. Anyone who knows anything about business in China knows that this is a literal, it couldn't happen. Any company in America would know that they couldn't go in and do anything with the Chinese company because you're not allowed. The government won't let you. So the idea that this is even a feasible option or something a company would think to do is crazy in the first place if you engage with any of the facts. But obviously, like, bringing this into like a wide-reaching conspiracy where all the media is working with them, I'm not even saying that they're not friends. I'm not even saying that there aren't, you know, back scratching happening in things like this, because there definitely are. I'm just saying that for something like this, it's wild to say without any evidence. And also, if you're basically saying that they did this and here's the articles to prove it, you're saying that, oh, they did misinformation with this article, so hold on, let me now be better than them by doing misinformation, by saying that this is a thing that happened with no evidence whatsoever. It's just like, aren't you trying to be better than them? Aren't you trying to prove the point and make the point that mainstream game journalists are bad and they're doing bad things, and SBI is bad and they're doing bad things? And you're trying to make that point by using zero source random people on Chinese Twitter with an axe to grind and a grift to sell, and these YouTubers that are, everything's woke and you know, there's problems with everything, even though there really isn't. Aren't you proving the opposite of the point you're trying to make? The legacy media's the bad ones, because you're being the bad ones by doing this. You're literally doing what they're doing. You're criticizing them for something and then doing it yourself. And the only dog in the race that I've got here is that it really jades me to making content and things like that, when you can literally see people getting hundreds of thousands, millions of views, just reporting, and we've got to use that term fucking very loosely at this point, on nothing. You know, a lot of the times they don't even say rumor. This one at least does. Rumor, 11k likes, 18k likes, 770 likes, videos being made about this, atting IGN, lots of people, you know, exposing them, claiming that this is true. Get wrecked, salty journos, Sweetbaby Inc. 7 million extortion scam. Like, guys, are we really here now? Is this it? Is this the Alex Jones of fucking video game discourse, that you can literally just say anything and then everyone's going to accept it to be true with no source whatsoever? Like, if this does come out and they provide some form of evidence and the company speaks up on it and provides something, you know, a first party source at least, not some fucking random blogger that's got nothing to do with anyone. If they come out and say something, it lends some credibility to it even without evidence. But they haven't. Nobody said anything. I think this overall just really harms, like, what you've got, and I've said this before, you've got people on this side, people on this side, people in the middle. What's happened is some people in the middle have gone towards a side, and if you want to win this fucking culture war of, like, if you're against all this woke stuff and whatever else, what you want to do is win the moderates to your position, right? And by doing stuff like this, where you literally almost invent out of thin air something that's so outlandish, something that's so ridiculous. Oh, they're performing federal crimes as a consultation company, trying to extort money from a Chinese company for $7 million, which would be a massive portion of a budget for a game from even a big company. When you say things like that without any evidence, the people in the middle that you would want to, you know, have on your side eventually by proving the point you're trying to make, that these people are bad and they are doing things that are harming the thing that they care about, you are doing the opposite of winning those people over. Some people will, because for whatever reason, people don't read into sources, people don't look into common sense topics, they just see everybody's saying this thing's true, so of course it must be. But the people who are actually thinking, the people that are awake, you know, the people that are wanting a source, they're going to look at this and think you guys are just a bunch of fucking conspiracy theorists like Alex Jones, tinfoil hat motherfuckers, hollow earth, you know, flat earth theory stuff. Because that is what it looks like when somebody just says something and you take it as fact without any evidence whatsoever. I don't want to get roped into doing content like this all the time, but I do see it on my social media feed constantly, and then people link it to me without any form of, like, critical analysis whatsoever. It's just like, I want for everybody to, you know, get their opinions across and feel how they feel. But what I don't want is for people to be just posting random things on social media and then claiming that is fact and then reporting on it and bringing that to any kind of conversation. And obviously some people are going to say, oh, you're on this side and we're on this side, so it's, you know, you've got to be against me. But all I'm asking for is to just do better in terms of, like, reading sources and finding out who said what and what their motivation may be and if they've actually got any real evidence. Because overall it hurts everybody. Because what's the next thing going to be? If everyone's at them saying you've committed crimes and trying to hold them accountable, it's just like the next thing that somebody says, what's that going to be? Is there going to be any evidence for that? And obviously for big creators, I'm sure they don't care, because I'm sure the money's great for doing this big grift. But you should probably do better, because you are literally contributing to just pure destruction of discourse on any of these topics. Because if before you even get to the point of having a rational discussion about something that really exists in reality, you have to dispel all these fake things that you've put in the head of the impressionable audience that you have, then you're fucking up for everybody else. And for you probably in the future as well. Obviously with everyone being so dogmatic and worshipping the creators that they watch, maybe not. But obviously the shoe goes on the other foot eventually. So yeah, I just think this is as bad, if not worse, than some of the stuff that other people do in regards to this discourse, when you've got one group of people that have some power, journalists making up articles about, they're sexist because these things they said that are just pure mistranslations. If you're just then going to make up that some random company that we've decided is now the fucking devil, literally Lucifer reincarnate, are doing something without any evidence, you're all just as bad as each other. And obviously I'm not going to come along for the ride of just pretending random social media accounts in China are fucking just spitting straight facts without any form of proof. But yeah, I'm sure this will be a very popular video in terms of people unsubbing and attacking me for whatever reason, for just basically saying the point of have some evidence before making extraordinary claims and don't believe everything you read on the internet. But there we go. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed whatever could be enjoyable in this, and I'll see you next time. Peace.